everybody, and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. This is another episode of Unrestrained. We plan on talking about, it'd be classified as a
Yeah.
comic book run. So we're going to be looking at DC's Kingdom Come comic book run. Me and you'll be talking about how good it is. I'll be comparing it to Injustice, because that's the first thing I thought of when I heard of it, and how Injustice is a ripoff of it. Also read Kenobi, so we'll be talking about that and comparing it to what we saw in the trailer for the Kenobi series on Disney Plus coming soon. So, and Andrew should be joining us. So, if he ever does, just pop right in.
Pretty much, Kingdom Come is you're in the perspective of, I forget the man's name, something McKay, William or something. I don't remember the name of the old man. As Payson's looking it up, I'll continue. You're in the perspective of him traveling in a different dimension, I suppose you could say. Norman McCain. Okay. I'm like, I know it's something McKay.
Norman
Um,
McKay.
so you're traveling in a different dimension with Norman McKay and who he refers to as an angel
For those
the
of
whole
you
time.
wondering, that is the Spectre.
Yeah.
It is not the Phantom Stranger, as both have been referenced as angels in the past.
So they're traveling around following the story of the descendants of the Justice League.
And or Justice Society, depending on who it is.
Yes. So they're following the story of them as they're kind of just wreaking havoc. They have no more care or concern for people's lives, safety. They'll kill each other if it means stopping or if it means fulfilling whatever justice they see fit, really.
They'll essentially do whatever it takes, and they have no lines. Essentially,
Yeah.
they're willing to kill innocents to just stop the bad guys. They have reached the point in which they are no greater than the villains.
Which is really disappointing. So, as they're traveling, you see the Justice League has disbanded since Superman has retired, and with that comes the rebirth of all these superheroes losing their way, which because they didn't have a symbol of hope or peace or justice, they had, and it was just weird in that case. I don't see how someone can go so far in just like a few years to not understand that type of stuff.
You're referring to Injustice, right? What
Well,
are you referring to again?
I'm just referring to in general, them losing their way in the
Well, I
fact
mean,
that they can't differentiate. And it's only been what, like 20, 30 years since they've
and
disbanded?
yeah, but it was starting off as a slow fade, and it shows that, which
I
is
mean,
which is done way better here than it is in other mediums like Injustice, for example, where Superman automatically just switches on a dime. This one shows a slow fade of the descent of characters like Wonder Woman losing her way as a superhero, kind of getting thrown out of Themyscira because of how she failed to influence the humans, and the humans kind of influenced her in that aspect, I believe.
yes.
And Clark just giving up on humans entirely and going to live on the farm where I think his parents would have died, and just kept on farming there. I
Mm,
don't I don't know if it says exactly that that's the Kent farm, but
well, the
I would
thing
assume
was,
it
it
is.
was in like an alternate. It was in a CGI like programmed dome. I'm pretty sure. So I don't really know for that one.
It could very well be, but it's undetermined at the moment.
Yes. And
So,
there he is.
yep, there's a man,
The man
the
with
myth, the
a
legend.
future.
Yep,
The man, the myth, the legend.
yeah,
Andrew.
Drew.
Hey,
So,
not much. I just got back from performing 2.5 hours away.
oh, that's
Oh
nice.
goodness.
But yeah, it shows the artistry does a good work of showing the characters go into an older phase like Superman, less so Wonder Woman as she is immortal. So I mean, but like Green Lantern, Alan Scott, Hawkman, and a new kind of, I guess, more hawk, like taking the hawk form literal.
Yes.
So I mean, it shows all those, and then it shows the new Hour Man, the new Starman, a new version of Red Tornado.
I thought that was kind of
Let's
cool.
let's see. The progression of some characters like Vic Stone going completely cyborg, the new generation with Avia, daughter of Scott Free and Big Barda, while still showing classics like Atom Smasher. So I mean, it does a good mix of keeping everything in. And ironically, Zach, I forget I believe the character's name is Cyclone. That's going to be in a Black Adam movie. That is going to be race change. She originated in this book. So
Really?
yeah, she was created for this book by, I believe, I don't remember which one it was, but I believe both of them just created. Both Mark Waid and Alex Ross both created her and multiple other characters for this book. So it does.
Interesting.
This ironically does a great job with the big cast it has, though. With the limited number of pages that the comic was allowed to run, it did a good job making every page count, I would say.
No, 100%.
Andrew, I don't know if you read this comic book or if
I
you've
have
heard of
not.
it, but
I
essentially,
recognize it.
it is the better. It's the better form of Injustice, I will say.
Gotcha.
And it is, I read it during the break, and it is so much better. It
I've
went
been trying
into
to get
so
my
much
little
more.
brother. My little brother has been enjoying Injustice. He's read year 1 through 4, and he's trying to find year 5. And I'm trying to get him to also read that because he loves that. And I'm just like, this is way better because it stays true to the characters. Whereas the Injustice one, Superman changes on a dime, which I know was one of the complaints that I believe, Andrew, that you had, if I'm not mistaken. You had the complaint of like Superman changing on a dime, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that does not happen in this book.
Sweet.
No characters changed on a dime. They did a good job with, ironically, I didn't expect that much from, I expected like a big fight with Magog in the third part or the middle part of the thing before the big fight. That never happened. And wow, they did a good job with that character. You know which one I'm talking about, Zach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when he goes after Parasite rips Captain Atom open and basically blows everything into smithereens with only like Magog and a couple other heroes surviving who could actually survive the radiation. He absolutely breaks down, and they did a good job of showing that he was just doing what he thought was right, what he thought was justice.
Yeah.
And they did a good job of showing him as not a villain per se, but not showing him in the right either, and showing him wanting a redemptive arc. I thought that was good. So
Yeah, that was really good on them. All
Mhm.
around, it was just they
And
did
I really
such a
liked his
great job.
yeah, they did a really good job. Essentially, Andrew, it's kind of this. I say it's a lot like Injustice because one of the main things in this universe, you're roughly introduced to this where Joker goes into the Daily Planet and kills 72 people. One is at Lois Lane, and Superman arrives on the scene with Magog having killed Joker. That's why it's kind of similar but different in a sense to Injustice.
Finally.
Yeah. So I mean, and Superman knows it's wrong, puts Magog in front of a trial, I believe. I don't know if it was. I know it was a court. I don't remember if it was like Supreme Court or anything, but he puts him in front of a court of the people, and the people let him go free with murder. So that's when Superman retires. And then it jumps forward, I think 20 years later with Norman McKay following the Spectre, and the Spectre showing him all the stuff that came to lead to, essentially that led to the last battle, essentially, with Captain Marvel, Billy Batson, or Shazam, whatever you want to call him, the OG Captain Marvel, going and essentially sacrificing himself in order to save superheroes and humanity. It's a really good story. And I would highly recommend reading it. It's a good read. Zach, you got anything else to kind of help give Andrew more
A
light on it?
more light.
Yeah.
Maybe an
I-
LED fluorescent.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen some of this stuff because considering how the artwork is. And
Yeah, I bet I have.
oh yeah, Zach, did you know that the Flash in this one is Wally West?
Was it?
Yeah, I know. At first, when I read it, I thought it was Jay Garrick,
Yeah.
just
That
because the
it didn't
costume.
look like. Yes.
That's what they said in the back of it. That they made it Wally West.
Well, that's interesting.
So,
I enjoyed
but yeah,
the light they put Shazam in.
I
The way
liked what
they
Shazam
had.
was so good.
So pretty much they brainwashed
Lex
Billy
Luthor
Batson.
brainwashes Billy Batson and basically grooms him for like 20 years, it seems like, or at
Yep.
least since like childhood. He ends up in the last Superman reaches out to Billy, and Billy has to make like a final decision as to whether or not to save superheroes or humanity or whatever. And it's pretty good. It's not giving too much away. It is good. Like the main characters of Spectre and Norman McKay, I thought they were really good. Sprinkles of old characters and trying to sprinkle them all throughout without like making the new characters
Yeah. Without
seem
overusing
too
them, forcing
yeah,
them.
making it feel like at least a familiar universe where some of them have died and some of them are still alive and well. I wish he had enough
Yeah.
pages to do the story arc that he wanted to do with Nightwing and Nightstar,
That
which
would have been fun.
Nightstar Andrew is the daughter that Nightwing and Starfire have.
Ah,
I would have liked to have seen that. I would have also liked to have seen what like happened to like some other characters that we would have thought would have been with like Batman, like Jason and Tim, or just some other characters that are fan favorites and just would like to have seen what happened to them.
Yeah. I mean,
But to be fair, most of them do get a shout out or they are mentioned in this. Even the Metal Men, which was surprising to me. The guy even put down back here that essentially the Metal Men all like combined into like this one guy called Alloy. It's just
yeah. I just
wasn't
don't.
expect a lot of these characters I wasn't expecting to be in here, and then some of them I was disappointed weren't in here, but it was enough to like completely ruin the story for me. So that was cool.
Agreed. Agreed. I just find it funny that they put all the super. I suppose you can classify them in their eyes as super villains into one prison and think
Yeah,
they're not going to break the prison.
I don't know. Well, I mean, they had Mr. Terrific on it. I think that was the whole reason for why
But
Superman
but
went and got
still,
Mr. Terrific. I will say the one
I
thing I didn't quite like was the way that Orion had turned, and I wish that was explained a little bit more. You know what I'm
yeah,
talking about? That really seemed
yeah.
that was the one thing that seemed out of the way. But I mean, it
Yeah,
didn't really
there
like.
were some things that seemed off.
Also, he had Martian Manhunter in there for like a page or so,
Yes.
which I mean, he even said it. I think the writer, or I think both the writer and the artist said that they would have liked to have Martian Manhunter in there, or I think the artist wanted to have Martian Manhunter in it, but then the writer was like, well, we've already got Captain Marvel, Superman, Wonder Woman. If we add in another top tier superhero that is like Superman level, we're gonna go over. We're not gonna have enough time to do it right. So, I mean,
Yeah, which I can understand. It's just, I mean, in the way they did have him in there,
yeah,
I thought
I thought
they
they did
did
a good
was
job.
well done. It was
Yeah,
it was a reasonable excuse to not have him focus. So I enjoyed that. But I really enjoyed Andrew, I think you might like this. The ending, the final chapter of the book
the
was
the ending is great.
Superman, Wonder Woman, and Bruce Wayne went out to eat lunch. Had this long conversation about the future, blah blah blah, and Bruce
in or out
Wayne
of
being
costume.
Out of
Yes,
costume.
not in costume. They went
Wow.
they
Okay, I
went
will show
to
you. This is the restaurant they go to.
I was about to say the restaurant they go to is a superhero themed restaurant.
It's called Planet Krypton, and it has all the servers and all the staff essentially dressed up as superheroes.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yes, and Clark Kent does not like that.
Oh
Oh,
no. Oh no, he does not.
He does not like that at all. So it ends with Batman saying, "Diane, you're pregnant, aren't you?" And both Superman and Wonder Woman absolutely confused. How can Batman figure this out? I don't understand how they're confused. He's Batman. So pretty much it ends with them confirming that Superman and Wonder Woman have a child, and the Godfather is Batman.
Yeah, which actually does surprise Bruce Wayne. So yeah,
man, rip this kid.
yeah, I think Batman says at some point he says this. You realize you just handed me influence over the most powerful child in the world. It's not unbeknownst to them. So
Not only that, but like they're all superheroes. They are all have good chances of dying horrible deaths.
yeah,
Yes, yes,
I mean
very much so.
Batman's already pretty old in this as he is.
Like
I
that's
would
how
say
you
he's-
retire.
Yeah,
Honestly, Superman and Batman did retire.
yeah, they retired in different ways. Superman retires and then goes to work on a farm. It's to some extent.
Yes,
And then Batman retires and sets up a robot army to patrol Gotham.
yes,
There's that.
yes. Superman's trying to fix the agricultural devastation of Kansas just being irradiated.
Yeah. Well, no, I
So
think in the comic, I think they do that roughly when they want to create the gulag.
no, they said that happened, but then they dropped the bot, which was a
Oh
nuke.
yeah, and then they had to restart.
And
Yeah.
since he's just immune to radiation, apparently, he's just, trying to grow plants.
Are you talking about the beginning of the comic though?
No,
Or are
the
you
end.
talking towards the end?
No, that's the end. That's what he's doing because they make mention to it that he doesn't want to make giant carrots.
Well,
I
yeah,
thought that was funny.
it's a good read though.
It is a very good read. I was 100% surprised at how much better it was than Injustice. Surprised
Gotcha.
and
Didn't
disappointed.
know. Disappointed.
Well, disappointed in the way of how Injustice could have been better.
I'm also
Got it.
disappointed in how much, with all the stuff that they were limited on doing, I wish they had more to expand on. But I also think if they would have done that, it might have ruined what they had. So
Mhm.
I don't, it's a little bit of give and take because Injustice has had the game, had the comic book runs that it's had, both Injustice 2, 1 and 2, and then the comic books 1 and 2. I
I
mean,
mean, they made a
and
lot
then the
more
movie,
money, but the quality to
yeah,
me
the
is
quality's been way
far
better with
less.
this. Yeah, far
Yes.
less. I think ironically, Injustice hit its peak with the game, and then it just slowly went downhill.
Well, because the
Well,
game
that's
came
what
first.
I was about to say that's what it was first. Originally, it was just a game.
Yeah. Well, no, like the comic book could have done so much more with it. Instead, it just went straight into, like, it didn't expand on it that much.
Yeah, I see
Expand
what you
upon it.
mean.
Unlike this,
I
if
see what you mean.
you knew roughly what was going to
I
happen.
wonder if the idea was to make a better version of Injustice, and that's the idea they had behind making. No, not at all. Well, it was an
This came
idea.
out before.
Oh, it did?
Mhm.
Oh, well,
This is before. I know it because this is before Damian Wayne.
Oh yeah, that's right. They didn't actually say a name for Bruce Wayne's child in this.
No, in this one, it's essentially it's like something Arabic, Ibn al Sadruq or something like that.
They're speaking gibberish to me.
I don't know, but that's the way the name is. This is before in comics when they had just when they made Damian a thing. And originally, pre-Damian, there was another Bruce and Talia did have a kid. I think they gave it up for adoption or whatever when they realized it wasn't going to work, or to something of that extent. But
I don't know.
Bruce Wayne. I remember that Bruce Wayne and Talia did have a kid, and this is, I think, is exactly what they're referencing because he's never called
Mm,
Damien.
yeah.
I mean, he's never called Damien. I think this was done. It was done around the time Christopher Reeve died because it says dedicated to Christopher Reeve.
Wow.
So that would have been like 2006.
Yeah. That I didn't realize that that was that old.
Does it have a copyright in it?
It probably does. So, but I'm not seeing one just skimming through.
Gotcha.
I'm assuming it's just okay. It's probably older than I thought.
Okay.
What's it called?
Kingdom Come.
Oh no. I'm probably good. It's probably 2006. Yeah, I was just confused when they had this thing at the bottom of it where it had 1997. But I think that's just one of the guy's references for something he's done.
1996.
1996. Okay, so that 1997 is correct. Yeah, 1996. And then they had, and so I'm assuming this deluxe edition, which I think is what it is the 2006 version, which had that page in it.
Yeah. Which had the ending.
No, which had that page of
Dedicated to Christopher Reeves.
yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else you want to talk about with that one?
I don't think so. It's just if you haven't read it, read it because it is so very good. That is all I say about that. That is my closing statement. I forget how it goes. Do they turn it over to the jury?
I have no idea. I
I
don't
need to
watch
play
enough
some more
Perry
Phoenix Wright
Mason.
games.
I don't watch enough Perry Mason or Matlock to know how it goes. Heck, I don't even
Oh,
watch enough Daredevil to know how that goes.
calling out the old TV shows. All right.
Daredevil isn't a whole TV show.
No, but Perry Mason and Matlock, they are.
I know, but that's what my parents watched. So
Those TV shows are from the 80s?
Perry
No,
Mason is not from the 80s.
no, it's not. No,
Perry
Perry
Mason's
Mason, I think,
way
is
early.
older.
Yeah, it's way older.
But
Matlock, I think
Matlock is,
Matlock could be 80s,
I think
70s,
it's
80s, something like
the
that.
70s, and then it goes through the 80s. I think it goes through all of the 80s and ends in the 90s. It had a long run.
I'm not surprised. So did Perry Mason. So,
Fair enough.
but yeah, definitely a recommend read. Do you think you're gonna read it, Andrew?
If you get the chance to hand it to me.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Where'd I put it? Because I had another. I'm trying to find the other comic book I had. Because I have let's see, I have this comic book as well.
Oh, Batman: A Death in the Family.
Yeah, the beloved movie that we animated Batman movie that we like so well, all of us. Yeah, this is what it's kind of based off of.
Kind of. So it's, better, possibly.
To some extent, yeah. This one, that comic book shows a little bit more of a Jason, not so much showing that him to be completely out of line. Shows
Okay.
him more so wanting to do what Batman says, but also being conflicted. It's way better. It does show him having faults where he gets too careless and runs into danger too much. It does it differently because it has it has his mom in it, and Joker kills her too. It's interesting.
Joker kills a lot of people. Let's just be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. Also, with that comic book run, that comic book, I don't know, is it? I guess novel. I guess, or combination of comic books. It shows Jason Todd's death and then Tim Drake's being brought in. So it's a good one. Andrew, what did you think about Batman?
I think the Riddler's performance was phenomenal. I think Robert Pattinson did really good. This is just the portrayal that I prefer. What makes sense to me of the Batman. I liked all the acting in the characters. I never have quite understood. In the past I haven't always understood the relationship between Catwoman and Batman, because it is definitely not a romantic relationship. And I liked how they portrayed it in this movie. Yeah, it was just a very enjoyable, well-made Batman film. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I have a hard time committing to saying it's the best because cannot commit to that statement. It's my
Understandable.
favorite portrayal of the character, but that's about it. Yeah.
I would say I'm excited to see their future progress with
Yes.
with this variation of Batman that we see.
I'm glad that we didn't get another Batman origin story.
I am glad for that as well. However, the movie started up so abruptly. I was a little confused.
It was funny. It was so funny. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes not.
It was just found it really odd when the movie started and you're just staring through a window. And I'm like, oh, I guess Batman's, spying on someone or whatever. And it's like, nah, it's this guy's about to die.
But it was enjoyable. It was long. It was so long. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a long movie, but I don't really have that many qualms with it.
I mean, we were on it for quite a while, Zach. So I mean,
On what?
we talked about it for a long time now.
We did talk about it for a long time. There's a lot to discuss. It's a long movie, and
Yeah.
there's a lot that needs to be said about it.
The Riddler did so well. That actor,
He,
oh my
he
goodness.
did
I
really
was
well. I just thought,
amazed at his performance.
as Payson said in the recording, was a little excessive with the screaming.
I am very
Yeah.
much a realist when it comes to how I like my portrayals. And
Mhm.
anyone who is a superhero or a super villain is not right in the head.
Well, of course not. But still,
So
I mean,
I like
it was
seeing that.
just, it was just, it seemed a little overdone.
I can understand that. I thought it was phenomenal.
I really enjoyed the penguin that we got to see as well.
The
The
more I
penguin
think
looks
about,
nothing like his actor.
the
I
more I
haven't
think
actually
about,
seen a side by side.
the more I think about the penguin, the more he's my favorite part of the movie.
He did a phenomenal job. I think he's going to be so very important in the next movie.
I think, well, the way I think
Or
about it is he's gonna grow. He's gonna gradually grow in importance, and then by the third film, he's gonna be the main. That's what I think.
he's the final boss we've all wanted.
Yeah, but the one we don't deserve.
Though,
I don't
Uh,
see how they cannot have a Joker though.
I mean, they showed him in the.
Yeah. Apparently
yeah,
there
the
was another
final.
scene with him that they scrapped. It's more of just like a what if, from what I've heard it is what it
Mm,
is at the moment. There's no like concrete plans or setup, just more like a teaser and seeing how it would fit. But I don't know how you can make a Batman series without the Joker. A multi-movie Batman series. You can
yeah,
make one Batman movie and have
a
it not have the
yeah,
Joker.
a one shot movie. Yeah, you can.
But with
But
if you're doing multiple movies, you gotta have the Joker.
I would say the only other way I would think would be just have every single like have Poison Ivy, the Riddler, and just every other iconic supervillain besides the Joker.
I mean, it was like this was a movie that had no superpowers.
I mean, then again, Batman's villains, I don't I think the only one with a superpower would be like Poison Ivy.
I mean, out of the big ones, I guess, yeah,
Yeah, out of the big ones. Um, most of them are just, kind of just psychotic.
that's
You
true.
can't. I mean, Bane doesn't have a superpower. He's just always on the voids.
He's just addicted.
That's fair. That is true. All right, I'm
So
gonna leave here. I'm fading fast.
All right.
no,
Yeah.
completely understandable. Thanks for showing up.
Understandable.
All right, I will talk to you all later.
Right.
Yep. Talk to you later. Going into Kenobi, since you've read the book, is it just one book?
It's just one. There are other stories of him on Tatooine. I think one is where he has to go. I think one is where he finds this other Padawan, and they end up getting chased by Boba Fett. I think that is one of the stories, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. But
Okay.
this one is like just after he drops off Luke, like not that long after.
Okay.
I
So
definitely,
yeah,
I definitely
because
recommend you read it.
okay, because
So
I think the TV show takes place like I would say 7 years after he
I would
drops out
say
of
at
Luke.
least anywhere from 7 to 10. I would think.
Because but that doesn't make like Obi-Wan ages really quickly then, because Luke leaves when he's what, 16?
Yeah,
So if he's 10, then he's only got 6 more years to look, you know,
yeah,
like he's old and decrepit.
yeah.
Which actually, now that I think about it, baffles me at how old they made Obi-Wan. Because when
Well,
at the fall of the Jedi, Obi-Wan was what, in his late 30s? Maybe early 40s?
yeah, yeah.
So by the time,
He does go old real quick. So
yeah, so he's in his 50s to 60s,
yeah.
which, you know, is reasonable, actually. No, that's reasonable.
Well, I'm gonna do the math real quick. Say he's 18 at the most when he meets Anakin and when he kills Darth Maul. That's about, we can go ahead and say 9 years for that. So he'd be 21.
Hmm.
No, wait, 18. He'd be 27. Anakin would be 18 when 2 happens. Anakin would be 21 when 3 happens. And Obi-Wan would be
30.
30. So he'd be roughly 40 something.
Yeah.
High
In
40s, low 50s. And that's me being gracious on the older side. You can easily make an argument the other way around because they viewed each other more as brothers than father and son. I think that's just George Lucasing.
well, yes.
He didn't think this far ahead, is I guess,
To be honest, I don't think he expected it to
catch on as
be
much.
as popular.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. The great thing about the Legends book is that it stays within the world of Tatooine and doesn't venture outward into like him being discovered by the Empire, all that stuff, which is what this one, the trailer is showing to do.
Yeah, that he
And it
found out.
focused more on the female Inquisitor that was roaming the. It just made no sense. It's a Kenobi show, and half the trailer was on that Inquisitor,
Yeah,
more so than Kenobi.
it was on the Inquisitors, and Kenobi kind of just in the background.
And the problem with that is we know these inquisitors can't die because all of those die in Rebels except for the black female on the rooftops that the trailer spends most of it, half of its time obsessing over. So I don't know. I read the book and now I'm way more angered by what could have been than what will more than likely come to pass. So, but
Yeah,
it's a good read. It's essentially about these 2 farmer families who are trying to like create like a new Mos Eisley,
mm,
almost in the middle of nowhere with the whole community around them. And it's it's a really good read. Shows Kenobi trying not to be Kenobi from the war and trying to be crazy Ben we see later on. Shows him in that struggle,
inconspicuous.
him trying to talk to Qui-Gon Jinn. Actually has an interesting way of introducing a romance only from one side. I think it's better than the
Obviously.
Satine romance, but that's just me. It's a good read. I highly recommend you read it.
Gonna have to with all the praise you're giving it.
I think it's gonna definitely be better than the show. I'm just trying to guess how much better now, because the Inquisitors they're kind of dumb at this point. It's stupid and pointless. Because going
I
around and
never
killing
got
Jedi,
the purpose of the Inquisitors.
well, they were supposed to be like Force wielders that were able to go and kill Jedi, I guess, that
Yes,
escaped the.
but
But
wouldn't
that was
they,
Darth Vader's thing, so I don't know why they're there,
well, also, wouldn't they
unless
technically
they
then
think like
fall underneath
thousands of what?
being called, like, wouldn't then they be underneath categorized as a Sith?
No, I
I
don't know
mean,
why, but no.
I would think that they would, because, I mean, they work for the Sith.
Yeah.
They use the Force. They have lightsabers. Like, what's not being classified as the
I
Sith?
think Filoni is using his same logic that he used for Asajj Ventress in that she is his assassin and that they're never going to grow strong in the Force. That's all I know
So
about
be
it.
it.
Yep. Did you ever watch the 2D micro series that I told you to go watch for Clone Wars?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did?
hmm
You watched it all?
I watched like everything but like the last episode, I think.
Okay. Did you like it?
Oh, I thought it was so good. The fighting was because I had seen clips of the fighting already, and
Yeah.
then the story it gave, like it was nice
It felt
to
like war
see
stories,
to
like
see
genuine war
more of
stories.
yeah, to see more of the characters that we kind of don't get to see that often. It was nice to see them in action. And then wonder, how they were able to die so quickly.
Yeah, well, I brought it up when I was watching it with Andrew and Thomas because Andrew was like, "How do Jedi's die that quickly?" And I was like, "There's probably a real world reason for it." And I was like, "Probably because of cosmetics, especially when they're with Mace Windu. The
hmm
four of them are with Mace Windu, and Chancellor Palpatine kills like three of them within an instant. That's when Andrew was like, "How could they die so quickly?" I was like, "Probably due to cosmetics." Now I understand the Order 66 one. So, because a lot of Jedi felt it, but there was no way for them to escape because most of them were in battle. So they were getting attacked by droids on one hand and clones on the other. So they were essentially getting bombarded.
I
So
mean, some of them held off
yeah,
to
like
save like their
Kiadi Mundi
Padawans.
held off
Yeah,
really well for the 2 seconds he was alive to stay. Plo Koon was
and
flying
then
ahead of the
you
squad.
had you had other Jedi's that held off the attack long enough to save like their Padawans or to have their Padawans live longer than they did.
Yeah, what I think is stupid is that they made like for whatever reason they made Yoda be I didn't mind Yoda being the one Jedi that actually felt it before everybody else did when like he felt like all the other Jedi falling because I
hmm
thought it made sense because he's like what 900 years old. He's more in tune with the
Yeah,
Force. He would notice. I think he would have noticed that. What I don't like is when they have like other people that they don't really give explanation to, like Ahsoka Tano being able to sense that something's wrong. And I think that one's just due to plot convenience. That's the only reason as to why it's there, I think. Juro Tapal, I think that's also just plot convenience. No real explanation as to why he can feel it when most other Jedi who were way above and beyond the ability, not as could have had the ability to do so, and you would have expected maybe would have seen it coming. Like Kiadi Mundi definitely felt it as soon as he went across the bridge, and I would think some of the Jedi in the temple definitely felt it.
and I
But
would
I
have
mean,
thought the Jedi in the temple would have had an upper hand a little bit, but alas, apparently not.
well, to be fair, that's when Skywalker went in, and they thought he was still with them.
Fair point.
So I mean, it's some things could have been done better, but can't really change much about it now.
Episode 3 was just to me all around a bit of a disappointment.
I
I
mean, no,
was
the
not,
fights were good.
yeah, the fights were good, but I'm just saying, like, everything else about it was kind of lackluster.
You didn't like the whole Padme and Anakin fight scene?
It
She
was a little one
lost the
sided,
will
if you
to
know what I
live.
mean.
She lost the will to live.
I hate you. You would choose him over me?
They could have done that better, but I mean,
They did what they did.
yeah, I'm not going to completely defend it, but I'm not going to say it was absolutely horrible.
It was just rushed,
The
in my
story, the
opinion.
story was there. It's just, it felt like they were talking more to the green screen. And I think that that's the main problem with George Lucas is that he can't really talk to the actors, but he can come up with such fascinating stories. He just doesn't
Yeah,
know how to implement them.
I
So,
I can understand that.
but yeah, But yeah, that's all I got about Kenobi. You got anything else?
Um, I, I don't know. Not really. I just
Yeah,
don't see the direction it's going.
yeah.
And
Jack wants to join in the episode reviews that we do
yeah,
because
he's more than welcome to.
he wants to tear this show a new one just by the way the Grand Inquisitor looks. And I was just like, that's the thing that upsets you.
Hey, let Jack form his
I mean,
own
I'm fine
opinion.
with it, but that's the thing that upsets you.
Yes,
The
one
Grand
hundred
Inquisitor.
percent.
That's the thing that upsets you. Not the crappy, stupid, spinny lightsaber blade. You know, not that. Just
Hey,
the.
look, spinny lightsaber blades are cool, man.
It's kind of stupid,
Can
and
you
they
spin
kind
your
of showed
lightsaber
it
that
was
fast?
no, but essentially all it is just. It's not even them finessing it. It's just them doing mechanical work. So you would think a Jedi would be able to use the Force to then balance off the
Break it?
mechanical work. Yeah.
100%. Yes, they could.
Also, the crystal is in the blade here, right? Like it is a blade with a circle around it, right? If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. The
Uh,
crystal is
yeah.
peering out like that. So how in the world is it spinning?
Refracting the light, and then it's. Look, I'm sure, they have reasonable explanation for this. You just have to ask.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have the same explanation for 7, 8, and 9.
We did it because we could.
All right, that's it. Good night, everybody. All right, this has been an episode of Unrestrained. Next time, when we will review the movie, what was it that he called? Turning Red,
Yes.
the new Pixar film that I do not wish to see. God, so help me.
I,
Um,
I wasn't expecting to
I
watch it
wasn't
either.
expecting that one. I was just like, Encanto. I'll watch Encanto. I've heard
Dog.
good things about that. I'll even watch
The
Dog. That one
dog.
actually looked interesting.
No, we're watching the animated movie
I'd rather watch.
Turning Red.
I want to watch
Dude,
American Underdog.
I'm going to rip Turning Red apart, and I hope he knows that.
I feel like I will too. Well, from what I've heard, it's like it's an all right movie, but for like a specific niche.
Oh no, no, I'm going to do research on the red panda and destroy this movie.
Why?
Because red pandas are cool.
Okay, I'm all right. I'm just saying, like it's from what I've heard, it's a specific niche of audience that it seems to be going for, instead of like most of the other Pixar movies where it's more of a um whole universe like a whole universe characteristic of audience
Mm,
where it's like more like anybody can watch it and
yeah.
able to understand it, whereas this one it's like more of a niche.
Okay, I see. I get it.
So I mean, I probably won't like it.
I I
You
haven't
probably
been
won't understand it.
Payson subtly calling Zach stupid. Yeah, I don't think you'll understand it, Zach. You're
It's
right.
gonna go over your head, Zach.
Just like everything else.
Yeah, just like everything else. But yeah,
Oh,
good to know that you liked um Kingdom Come. I'm gonna try to see if I can get Jack to read it. Don't know if he
yeah,
will, but
it was good.
I found that and I was like, I heard it's really good from multiple people. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I read it, and I think that's something I'll probably read every year, like just once, just to know it. Like I'm not even kidding,
I know I can't hold it against you.
because
It was
I want to know everything front to back about that story. Because now I'm just like, okay, if I was to do a DCEU, like my own like Disney, like my own not Disney, my own DC universe, like live action, That
Yeah.
would be the way I end it. That story would be the way I end it. And if
That-
I
that
wanted more of a story in it, I'd put the stuff I talked to the writer and the artist and put in the Nightwing and Nightstar, but that would be it.
Honestly,
And that would be
yeah.
an honestly good movie.
The Nightwing and Nightstar play.
I would have liked to have seen it, but I understand why it's not there.
Oh yeah, I understand. Pages are money, and I completely
Pages
get
are
that.
money, and they kind of already had that going on with Batman and Bruce Wayne. So
Well, that
it would have
and
been
they
more of a
added.
family
Well,
dynamic
that.
than
Well, that and they added that last chapter as well.
the
The
epilogue.
ending. Yeah, the epilogue. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, hey,
So
I'd rather have the epilogue than anything else right now, to be honest.
honestly,
And
that
then I'd open a
epilogue.
stuff, and then after the DCE, after I do my own DCEU, I'm then gonna open up a store, a restaurant called Planet Krypton.
100. I want. I no. I want to
I
know
want
why
that.
there
I
is.
seriously
I
want
want to
that.
know. I want to know why there isn't already a Planet
I know
Krypton.
that should be a thing.
I need to look up and see if I can find my own Planet Krypton
Yeah.
or something similar to it. Because holy cow, that was so cool.
Another cool thing that they did was with the I'm gonna try to end this after this, but I liked how like
Yeah.
Sandman was the OG Sandman was the main catalyst of the whole thing. One of the characters that you wouldn't even have thought of was the catalyst for Norman McKay to go on this journey.
You know what? I didn't even pay attention to that.
Wesley Dodds. That's
Yeah.
the coolest part ever.
I didn't put two and two together for that. Holy cow.
Yeah. They did. They did all the characters were great. So all right, I'm gonna end it now.
All right. I will
Yeah.
talk to you.
See us next time on Galactic Reviews.